Chosen one, stop for a moment and breathe. You are not here by coincidence. This moment is not a glitch in your timeline, it is a divine interruption. Heaven has been arranging this exact second, ensuring that in the vastness of the digital world, this message would appear before your eyes. Every delay, every scroll, every hesitation was guided until now. God made sure this message reached you personally, because what is about to be spoken carries your name written within it. You have felt it for some time, the strange weight that follows you, the sense that you are being watched over, that somehow your life is more than random events strung together. That quiet whisper inside your chest, the one that keeps saying there is more, is not your imagination. It is divine orchestration. You were never overlooked. You were hidden for a purpose. You were never rejected. You were set apart. Every closed door, every painful ending, every season of silence was not meant to destroy you, but to direct you. When others walked away, it was heaven clearing your path. When things fell apart, it was God rearranging what could not remain. He was protecting the purity of your calling from contamination, keeping your destiny untouched by hands that were never meant to carry it. The Spirit reminds us in the book of Isaiah, chapter 43, verse 1. I have called you by name. You are mine. Let that echo through your spirit. You are known by name. Not by number, not by mistake, by name. The universe may label you insignificant, but heaven calls you by identity. You are not just one among millions, you are one marked in light, chosen before the foundation of the world. God has been tracking every breath you take, every tear that has fallen, every prayer you whispered when no one else was around. Maybe you've questioned why life has felt so heavy, why the warfare around you has been so relentless. It's because the enemy recognized your anointing before you did. He saw the potential in you to shift atmospheres, to awaken sleeping souls, to carry light into dark spaces. You weren't attacked because you were weak, you were attacked because you are powerful. And yet, through every season, grace kept you standing. When you almost gave up, divine hands lifted you. When you felt unseen, heaven was watching closely. When you had no strength left to pray, the Spirit interceded for you in groans too deep for words. You were never abandoned. Every storm that raged against you was under divine permission, because God was using it to strengthen the wings you didn't know you had. Look back for a moment. See the pattern, the times you should have been broken but weren't. The days you thought were meaningless but later revealed purpose. Every thread has been woven into a divine design. The pain was not wasted. The silence was not absence. The waiting was not punishment. It was all preparation for this awakening right here. This is the hour when heaven reminds you you are not an accident. You were chosen before time began. Every breath you take carries purpose. The same God who formed galaxies also formed your destiny. He whispered your name into existence, and all of creation still responds to it. Can you feel it now, that gentle stirring in your spirit? It's not emotion, it's activation. The part of you that slept under disappointment is rising. The light that dimmed under rejection is igniting again. Heaven is breathing life into the ashes, and your heart begins to remember, I was chosen. Chosen one. This moment is sacred. The algorithms didn't send you here, angels did. This is not just another message, this is divine contact. God's word has pierced through the noise to reach you. The voice of destiny is calling, and your spirit recognizes it because it has heard it before, long before you were born. God is saying, I have always seen you, I have always been with you, and you thought you were wandering, but I was guiding your steps. You are standing in a holy intersection between the end of what was and the beginning of what will be. Pause here. Let the truth settle into your soul. You are chosen. You are called. You are known. This is your reminder that heaven's eyes have never left you, and no darkness can hide you from the light that marked you. Now seal this word. Type 777 in the comments below, nothing more, nothing less. It is not for show, it is a symbolic act of agreement, a way of saying to heaven, I receive this. And if this word has reached you, like this message, share it with someone who needs to remember their worth. Subscribe to stay connected to this flow of divine truth, because this is only the beginning of what God is awakening in you. This is your divine interruption, your personal summons. God made sure this message found you, and now nothing will ever be the same again. You were marked before birth, long before you took your first breath, before your first cry pierced the air. Your name was already spoken in heaven, in a realm beyond time, where light has no shadow. God looked at the vast timeline of history and said, this one will carry my purpose. And that one was you. You were not created randomly. You are not a product of coincidence or chance. You are a divine decision. The stars were hung in place before your existence. But the breath that entered your lungs was planned long before they were ever lit. You are the thought of God manifested into flesh. You are proof that heaven still writes stories on earth. From the beginning, the enemy tried to stop you the moment light entered your mother's womb. Darkness trembled, for it recognized a spark that could not be extinguished. You may not remember it, but the battle for your destiny began before you could even open your eyes. The storms that have surrounded your life were not proof of weakness. They were evidence of importance. The higher the calling, the greater the conflict. Every challenge you faced, every setback that made you question your worth, was part of the refining process. Heaven was not punishing you, it was preparing you. There is a difference between being crushed and being shaped, and though you felt pressure, it was the hand of God molding you into someone capable of carrying the weight of divine purpose. You've always felt different. Even as a child, something about you didn't blend with the world around you. You could feel emotions others ignored. You could sense when something was wrong in a room before anyone spoke. Your spirit was awake before your mind could comprehend it. You were not meant to fit in because you were chosen to stand out. The restlessness inside you is not rebellion, it's recognition. Your soul remembers something this world has forgotten. There were seasons when you tried to silence that inner voice, to live like everyone else, to shrink yourself so you wouldn't stand out. But every time you tried to hide, something inside you refused to die. That was purpose, refusing to surrender. The call of heaven does not fade with time, it grows louder in silence. You can't outrun what you were created for. The Word of God reveals in the book of Jeremiah, chapter 1, verse 5. Before I formed you in the womb, I knew you. Before you were born, I set you apart. Those words are not ancient history, they are your biography. God knew your flaws, your fears, your doubts, and still said, I choose you. He saw every wrong turn you would take and still wrote you into his plan. Your mistakes did not disqualify you, they became markers of mercy. Every time you thought you'd fallen too far, heaven was simply redirecting your path. You were set apart, not set aside. The loneliness you've endured was not abandonment, it was isolation for transformation. God had to remove the noise around you so you could finally hear his voice clearly. The world trains people for survival. Heaven trains its chosen ones for assignment. That's why your lessons came through loss, why your clarity was born through confusion. It's time to see your past differently. Every unanswered prayer, every season where you felt forgotten, was actually God building endurance in your spirit. He was teaching you how to stand when everything shook, how to walk by faith when sight failed you. What you thought was a delay was actually divine development. You were not called to blend in with the crowd. You were chosen to carry a frequency of light that the world desperately needs. And though you may not yet see the full picture, the signature of God is all over your life. Every scar holds a story, and every story holds a seed of glory waiting to bloom. So, when you look in the mirror, don't see the reflection of your failures, see the reflection of purpose. The same God who formed galaxies placed his fingerprints on your soul. You are not a second thought. You are the first word in a sentence heaven is still speaking. And even now, as you read these words, heaven leans closer. The atmosphere around you is not ordinary. It's sacred. This is remembrance, the awakening of what was written about you long ago. The seal of heaven remains unbroken, and the one who called you before birth is calling you again. You were known before you were named, loved before you were seen, chosen before you were ready. And no matter what has happened since, that truth remains. You were marked before birth, and nothing in this world can erase that mark. You carry eternity in your DNA, and every heartbeat echoes the rhythm of heaven's design. The same hands that shaped creation shaped you for this moment. Remember, your existence is intentional, your presence is prophetic, and your journey is only beginning to reveal why you were chosen. You have walked through valleys no one else could see. The nights were long, and the silence was heavy. People thought you were fine because you kept showing up, smiling, pretending, but deep inside, you were fighting invisible battles that only heaven witnessed. The weight you carried wasn't just emotional, it was spiritual. You weren't just enduring hardship, you were being trained in secret. Every tear you cried in the dark became a seed. Heaven counted. Every time you almost quit but didn't, the angels recorded your endurance. You may not realize it, but survival itself was a form of worship. You didn't survive by luck, you survived because you were chosen. The unseen battles were never meaningless. Every sleepless night, every betrayal, every unanswered prayer was shaping you into a vessel of power and compassion. You learned how to pray through pain, how to keep faith when everything screamed give up. That's what makes you different from the rest. You were not built in comfort, you were forged in fire. The apostle reminds us in his second letter to the Corinthians, chapter 4, verse 8. We are hard pressed on every side, but not crushed, perplexed, but not in despair. That verse is your reflection. You've been pressed, but not crushed, wounded, but still walking, confused, but never abandoned. There's a reason you can carry what others can't. It's because your spirit has been tempered by divine heat. You were taught resilience through suffering, faith through disappointment, and discernment through silence. When people left, you learned to lean on God. When doors closed, you discovered that prayer could open invisible ones. When your heart broke, heaven poured wisdom into the cracks. You see, the hidden battles were never about loss. They were about revelation. God was revealing who you really are. You are not fragile. You are fortified. You are not cursed. You are chosen. Every test you faced was proof that heaven trusted you with pain that would destroy ordinary souls. But you are not ordinary. You are heaven's soldier disguised in human form, trained in solitude to stand strong in the storm. The darkness tried to convince you that you were alone, but in those moments of despair, angels stood guard. Every time you felt too weak to move, invisible hands lifted you. When you whispered, "God, I can't do this anymore," He replied in silence, "Yes, you can, because I am with you." That quiet strength that kept you breathing was not your own. It was divine sustenance. There's something sacred about suffering that no sermon can teach. Pain strips away the false layers and exposes what's real. It teaches you the language of empathy, the rhythm of grace, and the depth of trust. The chosen are often misunderstood because their pain carries revelation others can't yet comprehend. Think of how far you've come. You used to break at every disappointment, but now you bend and rise again. You used to question your worth, but now you know your value was never defined by circumstances. You used to pray for escape, but now you pray for strength, and that is growth. Heaven celebrates. Your hidden battles have made you dangerous to darkness. You know too much truth to ever go back. You've seen too many miracles to ever doubt again. You are no longer the person who once begged God to explain everything. You are the one who trusts Him even when nothing makes sense. So right now, let this truth anchor deep within you. Type "I overcome" in the comments below. Write it not as a phrase, but as a prophecy over your own life. When you declare "I overcome," you're reminding your soul that every storm bowed to your endurance, every wound became wisdom, and every trial birthed transformation. It's your public agreement with heaven that the war didn't end you, it awakened you. You have fought unseen wars and survived invisible wounds. The world may not know your battles, but heaven does. And soon, the same world that saw your pain will witness your rise. When you write "I overcome," you affirm that your pain did not define you, it refined you. Every scar becomes a testimony, every tear becomes a seed. You survived not by strength alone, but by grace that never let you fall. Typing "I overcome" is a spiritual declaration that your past no longer owns you. The wounds that once silenced you now speak power. You are not the same person who entered the storm. You are stronger, wiser, and anointed through endurance. When you say "I overcome," heaven echoes your words. Angels take that declaration as permission to release new strength, new favor, new peace. It becomes a sound of victory that reaches beyond screens, shaking chains you didn't know were breaking. Let "I overcome" be your anthem from this moment forward. Whisper it in doubt, shout it in battle, breathe it in silence. It means the war did not win, you did. And heaven calls that triumph divine proof of purpose fulfilled. There are battles the world never saw, wars that raged in your mind, struggles that left no visible wounds but carved deep marks into your soul. You fought through confusion, heartbreak, and spiritual exhaustion. Yet through it all, you never truly fell. Something unseen kept lifting you when logic said you should have stayed down. That something was not luck, it was divine preservation in the invisible realm. Heaven has always been aware of your fight. Angels have been stationed around you, covering your spirit when the weight became unbearable. The reason you're still standing is because you were never fighting alone. There is a covenant of protection surrounding the chosen. A promise written in the unseen that says this one will not fall before the time appointed. Sometimes you wondered why the attacks were so relentless. Why did it seem like peace was always fleeting? Why did betrayal come from those you trusted most? The truth is, the closer you move to destiny, the more intense the resistance becomes. Darkness recognizes divine movement, and it always tries to interfere before revelation is fulfilled. But what darkness forgets is that every attack pushes you closer to purpose. What was meant to break you became the very thing that built you. It was proclaimed in the book of Psalms, chapter 34, verse 19. Many are the afflictions of the righteous, but the Lord delivers him out of them all. That verse is not poetic, it's prophetic. It reminds you that being chosen doesn't mean being spared from pain. It means being sustained through it. Deliverance doesn't always look like escape, it often looks like endurance. You've endured more than most, not because you're cursed, but because you're called. The weight on your shoulders has always matched the magnitude of your destiny. You've learned that strength isn't loud. Sometimes strength is getting up quietly when no one notices. Choosing faith over fear. Choosing forgiveness over bitterness. It's not the roar that defines a warrior. It's the persistence of their spirit. You've fought invisible enemies, depression, doubt, loneliness, and still, you've risen each time. The hidden battles have refined your discernment. You now see people differently, hear words differently, sense truth and deception like never before. What others call overthinking is often your spiritual sensitivity, sharpened through pain. You no longer just react, you perceive. You've become spiritually alert, aware of energies, motives, and divine timing. The pain that once blinded you now trains your eyes to see. When you look back, you realize you've been protected in ways you never understood. That sudden intuition to turn down a road, that quiet voice telling you not to go, that mysterious delay that frustrated you, all of them were acts of divine defense. What looked like inconvenience was intercession. Heaven blocked certain paths not to punish you, but to preserve your destiny. Sometimes protection feels like rejection. You prayed for things that didn't happen, for people who didn't stay, for opportunities that never came, but every unanswered prayer carried mercy. You asked for doors to open, and heaven answered by sealing them shut, because what waited beyond them wasn't meant for you. It's only now, in hindsight, that you begin to understand that divine protection often disguises itself as disappointment. This is the sacred paradox of the chosen. You are shielded by storms. The very chaos that tried to consume you actually redirected your steps toward peace. The pain became your compass. The loneliness became your classroom. The confusion became your awakening. Every season that hurt you also healed you in a hidden way. And though you didn't see it then, every night you cried yourself to sleep was a conversation between your soul and heaven. You thought no one heard, but the walls of eternity echoed your prayers back to the throne. God does not waste pain. He repurposes it. Every wound becomes wisdom when placed in His hands. So, when you remember those nights, remember them not with shame, but with gratitude. You were never weak. You were chosen for a spiritual training ground that few could endure. Your unseen battles were not proof of abandonment, but evidence of divine attention. Heaven invests heavily in those it sends on great missions. Now, as you stand in this moment of awareness, realize that every scar has meaning. They are not signs of defeat. They are seals of survival. You've been through hell, yet you carry heaven's mark. The fact that you can still feel, still believe, still hope is the greatest miracle of all. You are a living testimony that deliverance doesn't always come by escape. It often comes by endurance. The Lord didn't always remove the fire. He refined you through it. And now, the flames that once burned you no longer have power over you. You carry the fragrance of faith, the wisdom of wounds, and the calm of one who knows God too deeply to ever doubt again. Your hidden battles have birthed an unshakable strength. You no longer fight to survive, you live to fulfill. The storms may return, but now you understand you are never alone in them. Heaven's army moves with you, and every unseen victory echoes eternally in the halls of heaven. There is a moment when light begins to move again inside you, quietly, softly, like the first glow of dawn after a long night. You start to realize that all the pain you endured wasn't just to teach you how to survive, it was to awaken the fire within. The same fire that once flickered weakly through your tears is now beginning to roar with divine purpose. You have always carried a flame that could not die, even when life tried to smother it with disappointment and fear. Heaven kept blowing gently upon the embers. And now, that small, trembling light is rising into something powerful. You are entering the season of awakening, the time when everything you went through begins to make sense. It was spoken in the book of Proverbs, chapter 24, verse 16. Though the righteous fall 7 times, they rise again. That is you. You have fallen. Yes, but you rise again. You rise stronger, wiser, gentler, and more aware of the divine hand guiding you. Every fall became a step, every failure a teacher, every delay a divine redirection. The fire you carry now is no ordinary flame, it is sacred. It was lit by the breath of God Himself. This is the awakening flame that heaven has been preparing. It is the inner voice that whispers, "You are not done yet." It is the strength that returns when you least expect it, the hope that refuses to die. It is God reminding you that He still intends to finish what He started in you. As you listen to these words, let them become oxygen to that flame inside you. Let every syllable remind you that your calling still burns, your story still matters, and your light still has work to do. You are not behind, you are being refined. And soon, the fire within you will illuminate others who are still trapped in darkness. There is something holy about sharing light. When a candle lights another candle, its own flame does not grow smaller, it grows brighter, spreading warmth into places it never reached before. That is how purpose works. When you share what touches your soul, you multiply light across the world. If this message has stirred something in your heart, gently press like. It's not about numbers, it's about agreement. Each touch is a spark, saying yes. This light lives in me too. Share this message like a lantern handed to another traveler lost on the same road. You may never meet them, but your act of faith might be the moment their night begins to fade. Subscribe if your spirit wants to keep walking this path with heaven's voice. Think of it as returning to the same fire each dawn, a place where the flame never dies and the word keeps you warm through every season. And if your heart quietly whispers that you want to do more to help the flame continue to reach others, then listen to that whisper. It is not a command, it's an invitation. If you choose to donate, imagine yourself placing a small log onto the altar, not to feed a person, but to keep the fire alive for souls who have forgotten their own warmth. Each act of generosity, whether it's a word, a prayer, a seed, becomes part of the eternal fire that heaven uses to heal hearts. There is no obligation here, only the freedom to join in something divine, like raindrops joining a river. Every offering, large or small, flows into something far greater than itself. Your kindness becomes light. Your support becomes flame. Your yes becomes wind for others' wings. So as you stand in this quiet moment, remember the awakening flame inside you was never meant to burn alone. Like, share, subscribe, and if your heart leads, give not out of duty, but out of joy. For where light is shared, darkness loses ground. And through you, through your gentle willingness, the fire will keep spreading, one soul at a time, until the whole world begins to glow again. When you choose to like, it's as if you breathe softly on the flame, helping it dance higher. That single act becomes agreement between heaven and earth, a whisper that says, yes, I see the light, and I want it to live. When you share, you extend your hands through the darkness, offering someone else a torch. You never know who might be stumbling nearby, waiting for that single spark to show them the way home again. When you subscribe, you're not following a page, you're returning to a fire that recognizes your soul. Each visit adds another ember, keeping your faith warm and your spirit awake for what heaven will speak next. And when you give, even quietly, you build an altar of compassion. Your generosity becomes oil for this eternal flame, allowing it to burn longer, reach further, and awaken countless others who still wander in the shadows. You have felt it, the pull between peace and distraction, the quiet war between clarity and noise. Every time you begin to rise, something tries to divert your focus. The enemy knows he cannot destroy what is chosen, so he distracts what is destined. And that has been his weapon against you, the slow erosion of attention, the subtle fog over your calling. There are moments when you wake up feeling purpose burning within you, but before the day ends, that fire feels buried under endless noise. You scroll, you run, you chase, and by night, you wonder where your peace has gone. The enemy doesn't need to make you fall, he only needs to make you busy enough to forget what matters. The truth is, simple distraction is the thief of destiny. You were created to move in rhythm with heaven. But this world hums a louder song, one of hurry, fear, and comparison. And somewhere between wanting to please people and trying to survive, your focus began to fade, yet grace never left you. Even in the chaos, a gentle voice keeps calling you back. It's not a shout, it's a whisper, a reminder of who you are and why you're here. The distractions may roar, but divine purpose always whispers louder to those who are willing to listen. The prophet wrote in the book of Proverbs, chapter 4, verse 25, "Let your eyes look straight ahead. Fix your gaze directly before you." This is heaven's instruction to you now. It's time to refocus. It's time to guard your gaze. You cannot move forward while glancing back, and you cannot hear God clearly while every other voice fills your mind. Purpose requires precision. It's not about speed, it's about direction. Think about how an archer works. To hit the mark, they must silence everything around them, slow their breath, and lock their eyes on the target. Every heartbeat counts. Every distraction weakens the shot. That is what your spirit must learn again: divine stillness, sacred focus. You've given pieces of your attention to too many places, people who drained you, conversations that stole your joy, thoughts that weren't even yours to carry. But heaven is saying, return your focus to me, because what you feed will grow, and what you ignore will fade. Feed your faith. Starve your fear. You must begin to protect your spiritual focus the same way a guardian protects a flame on a windy night. Cup your hands around it. Shield it from every gust of negativity, every whisper of doubt, because that flame, your purpose, is delicate when ignored but unstoppable when guarded. The distractions of this world are designed to make you forget that time is sacred. Every moment you give to fear or anxiety is a moment stolen from your destiny. The enemy wants you weary and scattered, not because he fears your weakness, but because he fears your clarity. A focused child of God is unstoppable. You've been through too much to lose your focus now. The same grace that preserved you through storms will preserve your attention through noise. This is your awakening moment to reclaim your mind, your peace, your clarity. Turn down the noise of the world and turn up the stillness of heaven. And as you read these words, take this as more than encouragement, it is divine alignment. Heaven is clearing the fog from your path so you can see again. The confusion that once covered your future is lifting. You will begin to discern what truly matters, and everything else will fall away like dust in the wind. The distractions that once ruled you will soon bow to your discipline. You will speak, and chaos will quiet. You will move, and peace will follow. Because focus is not just an act of will, it is a spiritual weapon. And when you wield it, even storms must listen. Now, pause for a moment, take a deep breath, feel the noise fade and the clarity return. Heaven is near, and your purpose is waiting. To seal this word, type 888 in the comments below. Do it as a prophetic gesture, 3/8, representing new beginning, divine rhythm, eternal flow. You are declaring that distraction loses power and destiny regains command. This number is not superstition, it's symbolism. It's your agreement that you are stepping into divine alignment. As you type it, let it mean this: I choose focus over noise. I choose peace over confusion. I choose purpose over distraction. Let this be your silent vow to heaven. The fog is lifting. The noise is breaking. Your focus is returning, and with it, your destiny begins to unfold again. When you type 888, you're not just pressing keys, you're striking a match of focus. It's a whisper to heaven that says, my eyes are fixed forward, my heart is steady. 888 is your silent covenant with clarity. Every digit represents flow, balance, and divine renewal, your spirit aligning with heaven's rhythm, declaring, no more distractions. I walk in divine focus. You are beginning to hear the voice in the wilderness, the gentle call that pierces through confusion and noise. It doesn't shout, it whispers, steady and sure, guiding you through the desert of uncertainty. The wilderness has always been God's classroom. It is where He strips away the false, silences the unnecessary, and reveals what truly matters. When everything familiar disappears, when comfort fades, when friends grow distant and plans collapse, that is often when the divine voice becomes clearest. The wilderness was never punishment. It was purification. It wasn't meant to destroy you, but to tune your ears to frequencies that comfort could never let you hear. It was spoken in the book of Exodus, chapter 3, verse 4. When the Lord saw that he had gone over to look, God called to him from within the bush, Moses, Moses. And he said, Here I am. That moment still echoes today. God always waits for you to draw near before he speaks. The voice of heaven does not compete with the world's noise. It waits for your attention. Only in the stillness of surrender do you hear it clearly. You see, the wilderness is not empty, it's full of divine conversation. It's where distractions die and revelation begins. The silence that once frightened you becomes sacred space. The ground that felt barren becomes holy under your feet. This is where God begins to show you that his presence doesn't depend on comfort. It thrives in solitude. Every chosen one must walk through this landscape of isolation. It is the path of awakening, the place where titles and applause fade, and all that remains is authenticity. The wilderness teaches you the difference between hearing about God and hearing from him. You've had moments like that, quiet mornings when something stirred inside you. Words that weren't loud yet felt alive. Thoughts that didn't sound like your own but brought peace instead of fear. That was him. That was his whisper finding you even when you didn't know you were listening. And the more you listen, the more you begin to discern. You start recognizing what's divine and what's distraction, what's truth and what's noise. The same voice that called prophets in the desert now calls you in your solitude. The world values volume, but heaven values stillness. People look for lightning, but God speaks in wind. You've been conditioned to expect God in grandeur, yet he hides in the gentle, the quiet, the subtle. When you stop chasing signs and start cherishing silence, that's when you hear him clearly. The wilderness may look dry, but it's fertile in mystery. It produces depth, intimacy, and wisdom. Here, you learn that prayer isn't always speaking, it's listening. It's waiting, breathing, being present. When you sit in silence long enough, you realize God was never distant, he was just patient. Every wilderness has its lessons, it teaches you endurance without applause, obedience without understanding, and trust without proof. You start to see that true faith isn't built on answered prayers, it's built on continued belief when heaven seems quiet. That's where strength grows roots. There's something sacred about the quiet moments when no one sees your tears but heaven. When you whisper, "I still believe," through trembling lips, angels record that sentence like a song. You may think it's weakness, but it's worship. You are learning to love God for who He is, not just what He gives. And when you begin to listen deeply, the wilderness shifts. The air feels lighter, the silence becomes music, and the path ahead, though still uncertain, no longer frightens you. Because you've realized that as long as His voice leads, you cannot be lost. Do you see now? The wilderness was never your enemy. It was your encounter. It was the divine setup for clarity, not confusion. What once looked like isolation was actually invitation. Heaven led you here so you could finally hear. And now, that same voice that called to Moses calls to you not from a burning bush, but from the burning inside your heart. It says, "I am still here. I never left." Keep walking, and you'll find that every desert ends in promise. You have not been wandering. You have been walking toward revelation. Every dry place is about to bloom. The wilderness will not last forever, but what you learn in it will last for eternity. The wilderness refines your hearing until you recognize God's tone even in the wind. What once sounded like emptiness now feels like conversation, and every silence becomes a sacred reply. You'll look back and realize the wilderness wasn't distance, it was direction. God didn't leave you wandering. He led you inward, where His voice lives closer than your breath. And now, every quiet step you take becomes communion. You walk differently, think differently, love differently, because the wilderness taught you this truth: when God speaks, even deserts bloom. There are moments in life when everything you once called delay begins to reveal itself as divine alignment. You start to see that what looked like stagnation was actually God's hand rearranging time and space for your sake. Every pause, every detour, every unanswered prayer, it was never denial. It was preparation. You were never waiting aimlessly. Heaven was working silently. While you were questioning the silence, God was positioning the right people, the right doors, and the right seasons to intersect perfectly with your destiny. His timing is not slow, it is strategic. He was not withholding, He was weaving. You see, alignment requires patience, and patience requires faith. But faith isn't just believing that God can, it's trusting that He knows when. Sometimes He delays not because you are unready, but because the stage around you still needs to be built. A promise too early can become a burden. A promise on time becomes a blessing. Scripture reminds us in the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 3, verse 11. He has made everything beautiful in its time. That verse has always been more than poetry. It is the rhythm of heaven itself. There is beauty in every timing, even in the ones that break your heart. The pause between the promise and the fulfillment is not empty space. It's holy ground where your faith grows roots. Think about it. The seed doesn't rush the soil. It waits, unseen, while the unseen elements do their quiet work. The darkness around it is not punishment, it's nourishment, and when the seed finally breaks open, it doesn't panic, it rises. Because it knows the delay was part of its design. You are that seed. Your hidden seasons were never wasted. They were working. Every disappointment redirected you. Every heartbreak realigned you. Every detour taught you how to recognize divine timing. You learned to stop fighting closed doors because now you understand God closes them not to punish, but to protect. The places you wanted to go weren't wrong, they were premature. You've reached a point where your patience has become your weapon. You no longer rush out of fear, you wait out of wisdom. The same doors that once ignored you will soon open because now you're ready to walk through them with humility, not haste. It's strange how divine timing works. It rarely feels holy in the moment. Waiting can feel like wilderness. Silence can feel like absence. But later, when the pattern reveals itself, you see that God was never late. He was precise. Every waiting season refined your perception, deepened your gratitude, and stripped you of pride. Now, everything that once confused you begins to align. The conversations, the encounters, the heartbreaks. All of them were puzzle pieces fitting together. You are stepping into the picture that heaven has been painting with your life. But alignment is not only about external events. It's about your internal posture. You can't walk into divine order with a restless heart. When your spirit finally rests, your path begins to straighten. You stop striving to make things happen and start trusting that if it's meant for you, it cannot miss you. This is what divine maturity looks like, learning to move when heaven moves, to pause when heaven pauses, and to trust that both movement and stillness carry purpose. You're beginning to live in sync with divine rhythm, and that's when miracles feel effortless. Remember the times when you prayed for things that didn't happen. Now you thank God they didn't, because had He given them to you, they might have broken you. You now understand that delay was protection wearing the disguise of disappointment. You've stepped into the flow where time and trust meet. You no longer rush destiny because you know destiny cannot be rushed, it can only be received. You walk slower now, not because you are uncertain, but because you finally understand how sacred each step truly is. And soon, everything that seemed disconnected will converge. You will see how God aligned your heartbreak with your healing, your confusion with your calling, your waiting with your becoming. Divine alignment is not just timing, it's orchestration. It's heaven writing symphonies out of the very things you thought were chaos. So, breathe. You are right where you need to be. The clock of heaven has never ticked out of sync. Every second you thought was wasted is being redeemed. Your steps are ordered, your path is prepared, and your time is coming not suddenly, but perfectly. When alignment comes, it feels like peace, not noise, not rush, but a quiet knowing that you are exactly where you belong. Everything moves smoothly, not because it's easy, but because it's ordained. You finally exhale and whisper, "Now I understand." Divine timing unfolds like sunrise, inevitable, gentle, unstoppable. You no longer chase what is yours, it finds you, drawn by obedience and trust. And when it does, you'll see every delay was grace disguised as time. There comes a sacred moment when your faith is tested not by storms, but by silence. The breaking point of faith is rarely dramatic. It is quiet, subtle, hidden in the daily battle between believing and giving up. You've been there, caught between what God promised and what you see, holding on with trembling hands to a word that seems delayed beyond reason. This is the refining fire of the chosen. When your strength is gone and your prayers feel unanswered, heaven watches not for perfection but for perseverance. The strength of the chosen is not measured by certainty, but by endurance. You are not weak because you doubt, you are strong because you keep showing up despite the doubt. The Word of God reminds us in the book of Hebrews, chapter 10, verse 36. You need to persevere so that when you have done the will of God, you will receive what He has promised. That verse doesn't glorify the waiting, it sanctifies it. It tells you that endurance is part of the promise. Before every fulfillment, there is a season that tests your heart, a moment when heaven seems silent and all you have left is faith. But faith is never alone. Even when you feel empty, it's growing in the unseen. You see, God doesn't just want you to have the promise, He wants you to have the strength to sustain it. The same fire that feels unbearable right now is forging unshakable faith. You are not losing your way. You are learning how to walk by light that doesn't flicker when the world goes dark. Sometimes faith looks like continuing to believe when logic has run out. It looks like praying again after disappointment, praising when there's nothing left to celebrate, trusting when the future feels hidden. You've reached that edge before the moment where surrender feels safer than faith. But each time you reach the breaking point, grace catches you. Grace doesn't arrive with thunder. It slips quietly into your exhaustion, wraps around your fear and whispers, "I'm still here." That whisper is enough to keep your spirit alive another day. You may think you're holding on to God, but in truth, He's been holding you all along. Every test of faith reveals not what you lack, but what you carry. The darkness you've walked through has not weakened your belief, it has purified it. You've learned that true faith isn't proven by answered prayers, but by unbroken trust when answers don't come. Think about gold. Before it shines, it is crushed, melted, and purified in fire. You've been through that same process, faith burned, reshaped, refined. The version of you emerging now is purer, braver, and more luminous than before. And maybe you don't feel it yet, but heaven has seen your endurance. Every tear, every quiet "I still believe" has become incense rising before God. You may not have seen the promise yet, but He has already written the ending. The delay is not denial, it's timing aligning with divine perfection. Your faith is no longer fragile, it is fierce. The very pressure that tried to break you has transformed you into someone unstoppable. You've learned that peace is not the absence of problems, it's the presence of God in the middle of them. Now, take a breath. Feel the calm returning. You've passed through the breaking point and discovered that you cannot truly break when grace holds you together. This is not the end of your faith, it's the deepening of it. And as a sign of your agreement with heaven, type "still" here in the comments below. Write it as a declaration, not of pride, but of perseverance. Because through the confusion, through the waiting, through the breaking, you are still here, still standing, still believing. When you type it, you affirm that your story didn't stop in the middle. You affirm that faith, though tested, remains alive in you. It is your quiet amen to the God who never let go, even when you almost did. This is what victory looks like, not loud triumphs. But when you write "still" here, you're not typing words, you're testifying. When it's a whisper to heaven that says, "I've been through storms, silence, and fire, yet grace never let me drown." It's your proof that even wounded faith still breathes. "Still here" means you've survived everything meant to silence you. It's not arrogance, it's gratitude. You're acknowledging that despite fear, confusion, and delay, something greater held you upright. It's your quiet anthem of endurance, the melody of souls who refuse to quit. And when heaven reads those two words, it recognizes them as worship. "Still here" becomes a sacred declaration that says, "I may not see everything clearly, but I trust the one who carried me this far." You're telling eternity itself that faith still stands, hope still burns, and purpose still lives within you. And when you close your eyes tonight, feel the quiet glow within you. It's not ending, it's expanding. The fire goes with you, breathing softly, waiting to awaken again at dawn. There comes a sacred turning point in every journey, the moment when you stop running from your calling and begin to walk toward it. The light bearer within you starts to awaken, not in a shout, but in a steady rise. You begin to realize that you were never meant to simply survive, you were born to illuminate. This awakening doesn't come from ambition or noise, it comes from surrender. The moment you stop asking, "Why me?" and start whispering, "Use me," heaven responds. Every hardship that once felt cruel begins to make sense. Every tear becomes oil for the fire. You have not been weakened by your storms, you have been prepared by them. It was written in the Gospel of Matthew, chapter 5, verse 14. You are the light of the world. A city set on a hill cannot be hidden. That is who you are. You are not the forgotten one, you are the revealed one. You were never meant to blend into the shadows. The light inside you carries healing for others, hope for the weary, and courage for those who've forgotten their worth. But understand, this light doesn't argue with darkness. It doesn't prove itself. It simply shines. The moment you step into your purpose, the world around you begins to shift. Atmospheres change. Hearts soften. Chains fall quietly in places you may never see. This is what it means to be the light bearer, to walk into dark rooms and not shrink, to speak life where others speak fear, to carry peace into chaos. You are a living lantern, glowing not because of your perfection, but because of your perseverance. And as this realization begins to burn brighter in your chest, you'll notice something. Your presence starts to feel like home to those lost in the night. Not because you're trying to save them, but because your light reminds them they're not alone. That is ministry, not performance, not pride, just presence. You were chosen for this, to shine quietly, faithfully, beautifully. You are proof that divine fire still burns in human hearts. And if this message has stirred that fire inside you, if you felt that subtle warmth behind the words, then let your heart respond in its own way. If these words have found you in the dark, gently press like. Think of it not as a click, but as a flicker, a candle lighting another candle. It's your way of saying, I carry this flame too. If the light within you wants to travel further, share this message. Imagine tossing a single lantern into the sky. Now imagine hundreds rising beside it. That's what happens when you share. You release light into the world, guiding someone you may never meet. If you feel this fire pulling you to stay connected, subscribe, not out of habit, but as a return to the hearth, a place where the flame is kept alive, where the weary gather to be warmed by the same light. And if your heart whispers, I want to keep this flame burning for others, then listen to that whisper. If you choose to give, see it not as payment, but as participation. It's like placing a small piece of wood upon the fire, not to feed a person, but to keep the warmth alive for the next soul who stumbles in from the cold. There is no pressure here, only invitation. Giving in any form is sacred when it flows from gratitude. When you give light, you never lose yours, it only multiplies. You see, what we build here is not a channel, it's a circle of fire. Every like becomes a spark. Every share becomes a torch passed. Every subscription becomes another soul sitting beside the flame. And every act of giving, no matter how small, is a breath of oxygen that helps the fire rise higher. This is what heaven calls communion, not ritual, but resonance. Souls gathered by light, not obligation. Each person holding a different candle, yet together forming a constellation of grace. So let your heart decide how it wants to respond. Whether it's a silent amen, a simple act of sharing, or a prayer whispered into the air, it all matters. Because when you choose to take part in light, the world grows brighter, not only around you, but within you. You are the light bearer. Keep shining, keep sharing, keep believing. The fire in you is holy, and it was never meant to go out. Every time you share light, heaven smiles. It's not measured by views or numbers, but by hearts rekindled. Somewhere, someone feels seen again because your flame reached them through the night. That is divine connection. And as you keep the fire alive, remember it's not about perfection. It's about presence. Keep showing up, keep glowing gently, keep letting your light remind the world that goodness still exists. Every kind word you speak becomes another spark in the dark. Proof that even the smallest flame can outshine 1,000 shadows when it refuses to fade. There are seasons when you can feel the battle without seeing it. The air around you feels heavy, and though nothing seems visibly wrong, your spirit knows something is shifting. That's the circle of fire, the invisible barrier heaven builds around every chosen one. It's not just protection, it's consecration. In those moments, you're not being attacked because you're weak. You're being targeted because you've stepped into something sacred. The greater your calling, the louder the resistance. But what surrounds you is stronger than what confronts you. The circle of fire is real, an unseen army standing between you and what seeks to destroy your peace. We read in the second book of Kings, chapter 6, verse 17. Then the Lord opened the servant's eyes, and he looked and saw the hills full of horses and chariots of fire all around Elisha. That same vision holds true today. You may not see them, but heaven's chariots still stand guard. Every morning when you rise, every night when you sleep, divine protection circles your life. You are covered not by coincidence, but by covenant. You've survived too many near misses to call them luck. You've walked through storms that should have shattered you, yet somehow you emerged whole. Those were not coincidences, they were interventions. Angels have pulled you back from places your mind never even recognized as danger. The circle of fire doesn't always keep trouble away, it often keeps you steady within it. God never promised the absence of storms. He promised presence within them. The flames that once frightened you are the same flames that now surround you in defense. The fire that tried to consume you has become the wall that protects you. That's the mystery of divine protection. What was meant for harm transforms into strength. Every trial that burned away your comfort also burned away your fear. Every disappointment stripped you of dependency on anything temporary. And in that vulnerability, you discovered the truth: safety isn't found in places, it's found in presence. You are not merely surviving the battles, you're being trained to walk through them with calm authority. When others panic, you will discern. When others flee, you will stand. You're learning that the real victory isn't the end of war, it's the peace within it. Sometimes, divine protection looks like delay. Sometimes, it looks like loss. What you thought was rejection was often redirection, a merciful no that saved you from invisible ruin. Heaven has spared you from what your eyes weren't ready to see. You may never know the full extent of how many dangers you've been shielded from. There are moments you called unfortunate that, in truth, were rescue missions disguised as setbacks. Every detour, every unexplained pause was heaven's way of saying, not this path, not this time. Even now, as you move forward, the circle of fire travels with you. It's not limited to moments of crisis. It surrounds you in ordinary days, in simple conversations, in quiet decisions. You walk beneath divine watchfulness. The same God who guarded prophets in ancient deserts guards your modern steps with equal precision. There is power in knowing you are protected. It frees you from fear. It allows you to move without hesitation, to love without paranoia, to trust without trembling. Fear cannot coexist with awareness of divine protection. Once you know you are encircled by light, fear loses its voice. So when anxiety rises, remember you are already surrounded. When confusion whispers that you are alone, remember the chariots of fire around you. When danger tries to intimidate you, remember that the same flames that once purified you now defend you. The circle of fire is not symbolic, it is spiritual reality. And that reality means your life is preserved by divine decree. No curse can cross that line. No plan of darkness can infiltrate what heaven has sealed. You walk through your days marked, guarded, chosen. Even when you feel the heat of opposition, you will not be burned. Even when the night presses close, your light will not dim. The circle remains alive and burning, a living testament that the God who called you still keeps you. Stand still in that awareness. You are safe. You are covered. You are wrapped in a fire that no darkness can penetrate. The circle of fire does not flicker, it breathes. It moves as you move, a living wall of light that bends with grace but never breaks. Wherever destiny sends you, that flame travels first. Sometimes you'll feel it as peace that makes no sense. Other times as strength that appears out of nowhere. That's heaven's signal reminding you the shield still stands. Unshaken, unseen, undefeated. And when you finally rest, know that this fire never sleeps. It hums quietly around your soul, keeping watch, whispering truth, declaring over you again and again. You are protected. You are mine. You are beginning to see it now, the pattern, the purpose, the reason you endured what others could not. You are not random. You are part of a remnant, a small, chosen company of souls marked by heaven for something greater than survival. You were never meant to blend in. You were meant to carry instruction from eternity to earth. This is the covenant of the remnant. Those who walk this path do not live by convenience, they live by conviction. They are not moved by popularity or applause. They are guided by divine alignment. The remnant are the ones who refuse to bow when the world demands silence, who still choose light even when darkness offers comfort. You may not have known it, but God has been separating you not to isolate, but to identify. Every lost friendship, every closed door, every misunderstood moment was heaven marking you as different. The remnant are always refined by separation before they are revealed by assignment. It was declared in the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 7, verse 6. For you are a people holy to the Lord your God. The Lord your God has chosen you out of all the peoples on the face of the earth to be his treasured possession. You are that treasured possession. You are not just another believer, you are a carrier of divine instruction. You are handpicked to represent heaven in the midst of confusion. When others fall into fear, you will stand in faith. When others lose hope, you will release it. When the world grows darker, you will shine brighter. But understand this truth: being part of the remnant comes with weight. You will often feel out of place, misunderstood, even lonely. The path is narrow because the purpose is holy. Many are called, but few remain once the refining begins. You have remained, and that is proof of your anointing. There are days when you'll wonder why the journey feels heavier for you, why you sense spiritual battles before others do, why you're drawn to prayer while others are content with distraction. It's because your spirit carries responsibility. You are part of heaven's final movement, an awakening of chosen ones who carry light into a generation that forgot what it means to feel. The remnant are not loud, they are consistent. They don't chase platforms, they protect purity. They don't seek validation, they seek revelation. Their voices may be few, but their impact shakes nations. You are one of them, and heaven knows your name. Look around you, many are asleep, but a few are stirring. Hearts like yours are beginning to awaken all over the earth. They feel the same call, the same restlessness, the same pull towards something higher. You are not alone in this holy awakening. The remnant is rising, and you are part of its heartbeat. Do not underestimate your influence. Every prayer you whisper sends ripples through eternity. Every act of obedience, no matter how small, echoes through unseen realms. You may never see the full effect of your faith on this side of life, but heaven records it all. This covenant is not about fame or recognition, it's about faithfulness. It's about carrying the fire when others let theirs go out. It's about speaking truth even when your voice trembles. It's about loving fiercely in a world that grows colder by the day. You were chosen for such a time as this. The same God who called prophets from caves and apostles from boats now calls you from the silence of your ordinary life. The remnant doesn't wear crowns of gold, they wear crowns of endurance. They bleed purpose, breathe prayer, and walk in quiet authority. You are not small, you are strategic. Heaven placed you exactly where you are for reasons you cannot yet see. The light you carry is positioned perfectly within the chaos of your surroundings. You are not here to escape the world, you are here to transform it. So, as a mark of agreement with this covenant, type 9999 in the comments below. This number represents completion, divine fulfillment, and heavenly commission. You are declaring that you accept your role among the remnant, that you stand ready to be used, that you will not retreat from the call. Type it not as a symbol, but as a vow. Let 9999 be your quiet yes to heaven's agenda, your signature upon this covenant of endurance. You are part of something eternal, something pure, something powerful. The remnant is rising and you, chosen one, are its flame. When you write 999, you are not repeating numbers, you are sealing a covenant. It is your quiet declaration to heaven: I understand my place, I accept my purpose, I stand with the remnant. Each 9 carries meaning, completion, alignment, and divine readiness. When you type it, you're saying, I will finish what faith began in me. Heaven reads it as obedience, the world feels it as light, and eternity marks it as your yes. There comes a point on the journey where calling begins to feel heavier than before. The excitement that once carried you fades into quiet responsibility. You begin to realize that anointing is not just a gift, it's a weight. This is the weight of the mantle, the sacred burden that rests upon those chosen to carry heaven's authority on earth. It's not a weight of punishment, but of purpose. To carry something holy means learning how to walk carefully. The mantle is light for those who rely on grace, but it becomes heavy for those who try to carry it in their own strength. You are learning to balance divine assignment with human fragility, to walk strong yet humble, bold yet dependent. The apostle wrote in the first letter to the Corinthians in chapter 4, verse 1, "This, then, is how you ought to regard us as servants of Christ and as those entrusted with the mysteries God has revealed." You have been entrusted, not entitled. The mantle is not a crown of pride, it's a cloak of service. It doesn't shout, it whispers. It doesn't demand recognition, it demands responsibility. To wear it means to love when you're tired, to intercede when you'd rather sleep, to forgive when others would retaliate. Carrying the mantle feels like living between two worlds, the human and the holy. You still feel pain, yet you see purpose through it. You still face storms, yet you sense heaven's control within them. It is the paradox of those who lead under divine assignment. The world misunderstands their tears while heaven measures their endurance. There are days when you'll wish the calling were lighter. You'll ask God, why me? Why this path? Why can't I be ordinary? And in those moments, heaven answers not with explanation, but with empowerment. The same fire that once purified you now fuels you. The same grace that once healed you now strengthens you to heal others. You were never meant to carry this mantle alone. The Holy Spirit walks with you, adjusting its weight, steadying your steps, reminding you that the burden of purpose was designed to be shared. Every time you lean into His presence, The weight becomes worship. The exhaustion becomes strength. Sometimes the mantle isolates you. It sets you apart not because you're better, but because you're needed elsewhere. You'll find yourself misunderstood even by those you love. That is the cost of clarity, seeing what others can't yet perceive. But take heart, isolation often precedes elevation. God hides those He's about to highlight. You are being prepared for greater reach. The mantle over you is expanding, stretching your patience, deepening your compassion, sharpening your discernment. You are no longer just walking with the fire, you are becoming the vessel that carries it. And though the weight grows, so does your capacity. Think of an eagle in flight. The higher it soars, the thinner the air becomes, yet its wings adjust. It doesn't fight the wind, it rides it. That is your training now. God is teaching you not to resist pressure, but to rise through it. What feels like strain is actually strengthening. You may not see it yet, but you are already influencing atmospheres. Every prayer you whisper, every act of obedience, releases ripples beyond your awareness. The mantle you carry changes environments simply by your presence. People feel peace around you without knowing why. That's not coincidence, it's overflow. But remember, the mantle is not about power, it's about purity. It's not about standing above, it's about kneeling deeper. Heaven measures greatness not by how high you climb, but by how low you bow. The higher your calling, the deeper your surrender must go. So if the mantle feels heavy tonight, breathe. That weight is evidence that you are trusted. The God who placed it on your shoulders also placed strength within your spirit. You are not breaking, you are being built. And one day, when you look back, you'll see that what felt unbearable was actually the making of your destiny. Every tear polished your character, every test strengthened your hands, every burden became a bridge. The weight of the mantle is not meant to crush you, it's meant to crown you in time. The mantle doesn't fade, it deepens. It becomes part of your heartbeat, your breath, your very rhythm. What once felt foreign now feels natural, because you and your purpose have finally become one. In time, you'll understand that the weight was never punishment but preparation. The same pressure that bowed your shoulders built wings on your back strong enough to carry others toward light. And when you walk forward now, the world won't see exhaustion, they'll see glory woven into scars. The mantle will shine quietly, declaring through you this one was shaped by God's own hands. Each scar becomes scripture written on your skin, proof that grace is stronger than pain. You are no longer defined by what hurt you, but by what healed you, shining as living testimony. The time always comes when the journey of endurance turns into revelation. You begin to see not only the purpose behind your pain, but also the royalty hidden within your suffering. This is the moment when heaven begins to unveil your true identity, the revelation of the crown. Your crown was never forged in comfort, it was shaped in fire. Every heartbreak, every rejection, every silent night when you felt forgotten was part of the crafting. Heaven doesn't hand out crowns of gold that tarnish, it shapes crowns of endurance, humility, and wisdom that can withstand eternity. You didn't lose time, you gained testimony. The Word of God reminds us in the book of James, chapter 1, verse 12. Blessed is the one who perseveres under trial, because, having stood the test, that person will receive the crown of life that the Lord has promised to those who love Him. That promise was written with your name in mind. The trials that tested you were never random. They were the forge where heaven formed your authority. The crown of life isn't a distant reward, it's an identity, a mark of those who overcame without bitterness, who bled but kept believing, who carried faith through fire and still called God faithful. The revelation of your crown doesn't come with ceremony, it comes with clarity. One morning you wake up and realize you no longer crave validation. You no longer chase approval, and you no longer measure your worth by outcomes. That is when you know the crown has settled. The world measures success by applause, but heaven measures it by endurance. You've endured when others retreated. You've trusted when nothing made sense. You've forgiven when it hurt most. Every act of grace became a jewel. Every tear a thread of gold woven into your invisible crown. You may not see it, but heaven does. The angels recognize the authority resting upon your life. It shines not through perfection, but through purity. The crown you carry isn't meant to elevate you above others, it's meant to empower you to lift them higher. You see, the revelation of the crown is also the revelation of responsibility. To wear glory is to serve with humility. You don't wear it to be admired, you wear it to lead. You wear it to remind others that brokenness isn't the end of the story. There's a quiet power in those who have suffered well. They walk differently. They speak softly but carry impact. Their very presence feels like healing. That's what your crown represents: healing born from hardship, authority born from surrender. The crown doesn't remove the scars, it sanctifies them. It turns pain into purpose, sorrow into song, loss into legacy. Every place that once made you weep now becomes a place of wisdom for someone else. That's how heaven multiplies meaning through those willing to carry both wound and worship. You are never being punished, you are being polished. Every delay scraped away pride. Every disappointment deepened compassion. Every unanswered prayer taught you dependence. Heaven was shaping not just your destiny, but your heart. For a crown without character collapses under its own weight. Now you stand in a place where the air feels lighter because you've learned to breathe differently. You no longer carry fear, only focus. You no longer question your worth, because you've seen how God can turn ashes into beauty. The crown is not something you earn, it's something you grow into. Think about how light reflects on gold. It bends, it softens, it glows gently, it doesn't blind. That's how divine authority looks on you now. It's not loud, it's steady, it's undeniable. You walk differently, not because you're proud, but because you're peaceful. The revelation of your crown is also the realization of rest. You no longer strive to prove anything, you simply live as proof. The same pain that once pressed you down now holds you upright. You are not defined by what you lost, but by what you've become through loss. This is the quiet glory of the chosen. Their crowns cannot be seen by eyes that chase status, but heaven recognizes them instantly. And though your head may still bow under the weight of life, remember you are not bending from defeat. You are bowing from honor. You wear your story like a royal garment, stitched with grace, lined with resilience, and sealed with the mark of divine love. The crown is not just upon your head, it's within your spirit, and once it rests there, nothing and no one can take it away. The crown you carry does not glitter, it glows but carries quiet light, the kind that calms storms instead of commanding crowds. It's not displayed to impress, it's revealed through peace, forgiveness, and unshakable grace. When you walk forward now, heaven watches with joy. You are not striving, you are reigning. Not as a ruler over people, but as a master of endurance, clothed in humility, crowned by mercy that never fades. There comes a moment when hiding is no longer possible, when the light within you grows too bright to be contained. You've carried revelation in silence, but now heaven calls you to step forward, to let your voice echo in the world. This is the call to stand publicly, not as someone seeking attention, but as someone walking in assignment. Your journey has prepared you for this moment. You've walked through wilderness, through waiting, through warfare, and now you walk in witness. You have something to say because you've lived through what others are only beginning to face. You are not being elevated for fame. You are being positioned for influence. The world needs the light you carry. It was declared in the Gospel of Matthew chapter 10, verse 27. What I tell you in the dark, speak in the daylight. What is whispered in your ear, proclaim from the rooftops. That's your instruction. What you learned in silence must now become sound. The truths you found in secret are meant to set others free. You were hidden for a season, not to stay silent, but to strengthen your voice before it was heard. And now heaven is saying, "Go speak." But this call isn't about noise, it's about resonance. Your words will not be like everyone else's. They will carry weight because they were birthed in fire. They will pierce through confusion because they come from clarity. When you speak, hearts will remember what truth sounds like. Standing publicly doesn't always mean standing on a stage. Sometimes it means standing in your daily life with integrity, choosing light in places that prefer darkness, showing kindness where bitterness reigns. The crown you wear is not for decoration, it's for representation. You represent heaven now. You are a torchbearer. The fire within you is meant to be seen, not hidden, But as you step forward, remember this true power is quiet confidence, not loud control. You don't have to demand attention. Light draws eyes on its own. You simply need to keep shining. And if this message finds you today, it's because heaven is gently nudging you to step out of hiding. Your story is no longer a secret, it's a seed. And when you plant that seed through your voice, your courage, your truth, it will bloom in ways you cannot yet imagine. If these words awaken something inside you, gently press like. Think of it not as approval, but as agreement. Every heart that resonates becomes another candle flickering to life. Together, those small flames begin to form constellations of faith across the darkness. If you feel this message mirrors your journey, share it. Sharing is not about spreading content, it's about spreading comfort. It's like sending a message in a bottle across the ocean, trusting that it will wash ashore at the feet of someone who needs it most. If you found peace here and wish to keep walking this path, subscribe. Picture it not as following a page, but as returning to a sacred fire, a place where your spirit can keep being refueled, reminded, and restored. Every return keeps the flame alive. And finally, leave a comment if your heart has found meaning in these words. Your story may be the confirmation someone else is praying for. Think of your words as pebbles dropped in water ripples reaching unseen shores. You never know whose hope you'll revive. This is not pressure, it's participation. A holy partnership between message and messenger, light and listener. Each small response becomes an echo saying, "Yes, I'm here. I choose light too." You see, heaven doesn't force revelation, it invites response. And in your quiet yes, in your gentle act of engagement, you become part of the divine dialogue unfolding across generations. The time for silence has ended. The world is darker. Yes, but that is why your light matters more than ever. Do not underestimate the glow of a single flame. Entire nights have been changed by one. So step forward. Shine softly but boldly. Let your truth move like wind through the hearts of others. Like, share, subscribe, comment, not as routine gestures, but as sacred symbols of connection, each one saying, "I hear, I agree. I will carry this light onward." You are standing publicly now, not as a follower, but as a flame. And wherever you walk, heaven will follow. When you choose to engage, it isn't obligation, it's communion. Each gesture, each word, each spark of agreement becomes part of a greater fire that moves quietly across hearts, linking souls unseen but deeply known. You are not responding to a video. You are answering a call. Every act of connection, your like, your share. Your voice is the sound of light expanding, echoing softly through eternity's corridors. And as that light travels, it carries your signature. Heaven knows your flame, remembers your yes, and adds your glow to its constellation of chosen ones shining, connected, eternal. There comes an hour when heaven begins to balance the scales, when the unseen work of years meets divine justice. Everything that was unfair, everything taken, everything hidden in shadows begins to move under the light of truth. This is the hour of divine justice, when heaven's timing and righteousness align. It doesn't come with thunder. It arrives quietly like dawn, dissolving darkness without noise. Justice in God's kingdom is not about revenge. It's about restoration. It's the moment when what was broken is mended, when what was delayed is delivered, and when those who wronged you must face what they planted. The psalmist wrote in the book of Psalms, chapter 37, verse 6, "He will make your righteousness shine like the dawn, the justice of your cause like the noonday sun." That promise still breathes today. You have waited long, perhaps thinking heaven was silent while injustice ruled. But heaven was never silent, it was strategic. God's timing often looks like slowness, yet every second is purposeful. He allows the proud to climb high enough for their fall to become instruction. You've endured seasons where your goodness was misunderstood, your honesty questioned, your kindness taken for weakness. You stayed quiet not because you were defeated, but because you trusted a higher court. The divine does not forget. It observes, it records, it restores. The hour of justice doesn't rush, it ripens. There is a pattern to divine justice, it never returns to you empty. What you lost will not simply be replaced, it will be multiplied. God restores in ways that confound logic. What you thought was gone forever will reappear in a form even better than before. This is not fantasy, it's fulfillment. Those who underestimated you will witness what grace looks like when it rises from ashes. Not to shame them, but to awaken them. Your comeback is not built to humiliate. It's built to illuminate. When divine justice arrives, it doesn't destroy, it reorders. The tables turn not out of spite, but out of truth. Remember Joseph in Egypt, betrayed by his brothers, forgotten in prison, yet lifted to power at the appointed time. His pain became the platform for his purpose. That same principle still governs your life. The pits you fell into were never meant to bury you. They were steps to the throne of purpose. Sometimes divine justice looks like peace instead of punishment. God doesn't always expose your enemies. Sometimes He simply elevates you beyond their reach. That's the quiet kind of justice that confuses darkness the most, when you rise without resentment, when you smile without scars, when you bless those who once broke you. You are entering a season where what was wrong will be made right, but in a way only heaven could design. It won't look like human payback. It will look like divine poetry. Doors will open where others closed them. Opportunities you thought were lost will return renewed. The same voices that spoke against you will fall silent in awe. There's a holy satisfaction that comes when you stop trying to prove yourself. The moment you let God defend your name, heaven begins to move faster than your anger ever could. Justice delayed is never justice denied, it's justice perfected. And as this hour unfolds, your heart will feel lighter. The bitterness that once tried to take root will dissolve, because you'll finally see why everything had to happen the way it did. You'll realize that nothing was truly taken from you. It was being reserved until you were ready. So when the shift happens, stand with humility. Let your victory speak softly. Let your peace be the proof that righteousness always outlasts deception. The ones who tried to break you have, unknowingly, become witnesses to your divine promotion. Heaven does not repay according to human measure. It restores with purpose. Every injustice, every false word, every moment of being overlooked, none of it was wasted. It was all fuel for your refining. The hour of divine justice is not coming, it's here. And when you see it, remember, mercy always follows justice. You are not just being restored, you are being redeemed. Your name is being rewritten in heaven's ledger, marked not by what you endured, but by how you endured it. The same God who saw your tears now writes your testimony. The night is ending, the light is rising, and divine order is taking its rightful place in your story. Divine justice does not shout, it simply stands. It restores without boasting, rebuilds without noise, and leaves no trace of bitterness behind, only peace, the signature of heaven's final word. You will know it has arrived when your heart feels still, when forgiveness no longer feels forced, and when gratitude flows where grief once lived. That is restoration in its purest form. And when others look at you, they won't see the pain anymore. They'll see grace wearing your face. Quiet proof that divine justice never fails, it simply arrives right on time. There is a hush that falls before every outpouring. The air changes, the atmosphere thickens, and your spirit begins to sense something greater approaching. You can feel it. This isn't just another moment. It's the culmination of everything you've endured, learned, and believed. This is the final outpouring, the release of everything heaven has been storing within you. You have been prepared drop by drop through pain, through patience, through persistence. Every season you thought was wasted was actually a filling. Every time you felt empty, heaven was quietly pouring into you. And now the vessel is full. The time for overflow has come. In the book of Joel, chapter 2, verse 28, it is written, and afterward, I will pour out my spirit on all people. Your sons and daughters will prophesy. Your old men will dream dreams. Your young men will see visions. That promise is no longer distant, it is unfolding. The Spirit of God is not coming to visit you. It is coming to dwell in you, to flow through you. You were not just chosen to receive, you were chosen to release. Every trial you survived refined your ability to carry divine presence without breaking. The final outpouring is not about external miracles, it's about internal transformation. It is when heaven and earth meet inside a willing heart. It's when your wounds become wells, your scars become sources, and your words begin to water dry places. This outpouring is personal before it becomes powerful. You may not feel worthy, and that's exactly why you are ready. The proud cannot carry this. Only the surrendered can. The vessels God fills are never perfect. They are yielded. You've been emptied of pride, emptied of control, emptied of certainty, so that when He fills you, there is no confusion about the source of your strength. This is why the pressure was so intense in your past seasons. Heaven was expanding your capacity. The weight you carried, the tears you cried, the faith you fought for, all of it carved deeper space within you for His glory to dwell. And now, what once felt like breaking was actually the making of a vessel large enough to overflow. The final outpouring will not come with spectacle, but with stillness. It will begin in the quiet of your surrender, when you stop striving to control outcomes and simply open your spirit. You will feel peace first, then power. You will sense warmth before wonder. And suddenly, Everything you once feared will begin to work in harmony with what you believe. You will find yourself speaking differently, not louder, but with more authority. You will love deeper, forgive faster, and carry calm where others carry chaos. People around you will change, not because you force them, but because heaven within you begins to flow outward naturally. This is how revival begins, not on stages, but in hearts. It begins when the chosen ones finally realize they are the rivers, not the reservoirs. What God pours into them is meant to move through them, refreshing everyone it touches. And as this final outpouring moves through your life, it will wash away the residue of every old wound. The shame, the fear, the hesitation, all of it will dissolve. What remains will be purity, clarity, and courage. You will walk lighter, speak clearer, love freer. Heaven is no longer preparing you for battle, it is positioning you for blessing. The days of survival are over. The days of overflow are here. You will give without growing weary, because your supply no longer comes from effort but from source. And as you step into this season, you will begin to see that every drop of pain was worth it. Every disappointment served a purpose. Every unanswered prayer was a delay of mercy. The God who once taught you to wait is now teaching you to flow. You are the vessel of the final outpouring, poured out but never empty. Broken yet always whole. Humble yet radiant. The world will not understand it, but heaven will recognize it instantly. You are the living evidence that God still breathes through chosen ones. This is not the end of your story, it's the release of it. You have been filled for this exact moment. Now, go forth as living rain, carrying heaven's water into every dry heart you meet. You will feel it in quiet moments, a stirring like wind before rain. It's not chaos, it's renewal. Heaven isn't rushing you, it's releasing through you. The flow has already begun. Soon, words will come not from effort but overflow. Love will move through you like breath, effortless and alive. You'll realize you are no longer striving for God, you're living as His expression. And when you walk, creation will recognize you. The earth itself will sigh in relief, sensing restoration in your steps. The outpouring won't end with you, it will begin through you. You've reached the final moment, where the echoes fade and only truth remains. You were never just listening, you were remembering who you are. The words have done their work. The seed is alive in you now, glowing quietly, waiting to move through your choices, your kindness, your courage. Every time you return to this space, you are not coming back to a video, you are coming home to the fire that keeps you warm in a world that often feels cold. What began as sound has now become spirit. What began as words has become movement inside your soul. And if this journey has touched something deep within you, let your heart respond gently. Press like as a symbol of agreement, a whisper saying, yes, this light lives in me too. Share this message if it has stirred something sacred in you. Imagine releasing a lantern into the sky. Somewhere, someone searching in the dark will see its glow and remember hope again. Subscribe if your spirit feels at peace here. Think of it as returning to a circle of light, a safe place where your faith is refueled. Your heart is reminded, and your flame is never left alone. And if gratitude rises quietly within you, follow its leading. Give only if your heart feels it, not out of pressure, but as participation in keeping this flame alive. Every gift, no matter how small, becomes like oil on the fire, helping it reach others who are still in the night. Lastly, leave a comment not for attention, but as an act of testimony. Your words might become the answer to someone else's silent prayer. Together, we create a constellation of light souls connected by faith, glowing across the distance. The message has reached you for a reason. Now carry it forward, chosen one.